Sometimes when I'm thinking about how to do a video, I overthink it, especially when it comes to my background. I don't really have a good background yet or an idea for one, so I end up in my kitchen for some reason. I don't know why, but that's not an excuse not to film something. I do have some sort of a background. Let me show you. So this is a background. I've been teaching kids English online. That's why I have this lovely, colorful background. But I'm also tired of standing, so I think I'm just going to talk right here. Yeah, and this is also, I don't know, this is also my current workstation for both the teaching online and video editing. And I'm watching a video on Jude Law. So no, not really working right now. But anyway, you know what? I'm just gonna take this down. That's just silly. Okay, I'm gonna think of a background eventually, not this. So yeah, there were a lot of places I could have gone to in Thailand, and there were so many places I wanted to go to, but I only had 2 weeks. So the tour I went on started in Bangkok, and I'm not going to get too much into the itinerary of the tour, but I'll link it down below. But we started in Bangkok, and what's nice about Gadventures, they have a really good balance between planned like tour activities and then also your own free time. So the first day in Bangkok, they just gave us a list of things to do and see around the city. Then we were free to do whatever we wanted to do. And if you're too scared to go out by yourself, the really nice thing about group tours is you make friends really easily. And more often than not, it's usually your roommate that you make really good friends with. So the first day, like there were so many things to do and see in Bangkok. Like we went to Wat Po, we had our first tuk-tuk ride, we went on a riverboat tour, and then I think that's it. But yeah, there were so many things to do. But I'm not going to talk a lot about Bangkok because it wasn't in my top 5 for this trip, so let's just move on. My first favorite place I went to on this trip in Southeast Thailand was called Khao National Park. We actually took a night train from Bangkok to this park, which was a really interesting experience. The whole train ride was between 12 and 14 hours. I think it's just something you have to try if you're going to Thailand. But if you do go on this train, just a full warning, it is freezing on this train. Like there are people actually wearing their winter jackets. That's how cold it was at night. But yeah, so the train ride was not a part of the national park, but something really cool to do if you go to Thailand. So yeah, the park itself, the reason why I loved it was because one, the really cool landscapes. There's just these really tall, unique rock formations coming out of the water, and the water was a really, really nice blue turquoise water. We took a boat around these formations, and it, like everywhere you looked, it honestly felt like you were in a movie. I guess it's just landscape I've never really seen before, so that's one of the reasons why I liked it. It was just beautiful. The accommodations we stayed at, which was the Khao Rainforest Resort, that was definitely one of my favorite accommodations I stayed in at this trip. One, because it's right outside of the park, so at nighttime you could hear like all these different sounds of the rainforest, like monkeys and birds and different insects and lots of lizards. We had a really bad cockroach experience that I don't want to talk about. Even with that, it was still my favorite place we stayed in. There's a lot of stuff to do in the park itself. The park has a lot of waterfalls and hikes you can do. Me and my roommate, we tried to get to the first waterfall, but we weren't able to get to it before nightfall. But on the way back, we did get to see a whole bunch of monkeys, which was really cool. I think it was like between 20 and 30 monkeys. That was a really nice treat, especially after we didn't get to the waterfall. My second favorite place on this trip was the island of Koh Phangan. Most of you might already know that Koh Phangan is very famous for the full moon parties in Thailand. I did not go during full moon, which I liked because the island was pretty quiet and it was low season on top of that, so there was barely any tourists there. Again, this island also has a lot of waterfalls, lots of hiking, lots of snorkeling and scuba diving. The waterfall that we went to visit, the waterfall itself was a bit disappointing, like it was nothing like the pictures, but we did have a lot of fun on this hike. We eventually found a place to swim and relax in, which was nice. Some of the parts of the hike were a bit difficult. Yeah, and this waterfall we just chose because it was only, I think, like 15-minute drive from our hostel. And we stayed at the Good Time Backpackers Hostel. But other than all the activities on this island, the island also has really good food markets, especially if you want cheaper food. I think the island also had the best beaches out of all the beaches I went to on this trip. And again, the hostel had its own private beach, so that was really nice. So yeah, that was my second favorite place. My third favorite place I went to on this trip was called the island of Hoanunna. No, it was Koh Samui. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know. So this island is the place for the very famous viewpoint that looks like this. I wish I would have gotten some video at the viewpoint, but it was chaotic up there. It's like 50 people at a time trying to get the same picture, and there's no barriers or fence or anything, and you're literally like at this point, and it's very nerve-wracking. That did not feel safe at all, but I still think the view was worth it. Other things you could do on this island, again, is a lot of snorkeling and scuba diving. The snorkeling that we did was beautiful, the water was gorgeous, but I don't know if it was just the area we were in, but we didn't really see a lot of fish. Or maybe it was just me not going out farther enough because I'm not a good swimmer, but I still really enjoyed it. And it's just a nice day trip you can do from the other islands. So I would highly recommend that if you're going to be in that area. So that was my third one. My fourth favorite place on this trip was Chewing Beach on the island of Koh Samui. This is the last island I went to on this trip, and this was the island I was at by myself. Why I liked this area was, one, I had a lot of good food and good shopping, and it had like a good variety of things. For the shopping, for example, there's a really nice mall there if you want to do that way, but the prices are basically what you would pay in Canada, so it's not that exciting. But if you're looking for cheap shopping, all you have to do is wait until the nighttime and all the vendors open up their shops, and you can bargain down a lot of good things. This is a really good place to start if you've never bargained before, or haggle, whatever you want to call it. It's very much expected of you to bargain there, and it's really easy to do it. Like, sometimes you're not even trying to buy something. You're just like, you glanced at something for a second and they're already trying to like give you a better price. It was fun after a while, but I did keep in mind that it was low season and they weren't getting that many sales, so I didn't bargain like so low that it's like they're not making anything. But yes, it's very much expected of you to bargain. So that was for shopping. And then for food, again, they had a mix of like high range stuff and low range stuff, so that they had really nice restaurants, and they're pretty much prices that are the same of Canada. But again, if you wait till nighttime, there's the Chewing night market, and you could get pad thai for $1. The experience itself was a bit overwhelming, only because like as soon as you walk in, there's like 10 different vendors surrounding you trying to get you to come to their stall. But the food was really good, and it's only $1, so if you want cheap food, I would definitely recommend that. So that's for food and shopping. The hostel I stayed at was called Labdi. Definitely one of the nicest hostels I've ever stayed in. One, I liked it because in the bunk beds they didn't have ladders. They had stairs in between the beds instead, which was nice because you didn't disturb anybody while you're climbing up. You had one big locker as soon as you entered the room, and then you also had one small locker like in your little cub bed thing, I don't know what to call it, but it was like right next to your head, so you could lock up smaller things. It also had a private light and an outlet right next to your bed as well. It also had 2 pools, its own private beach, a restaurant, laundry, and the staff were really friendly. So that was definitely one of the best hostels I stayed in. Yeah, I think that's it for the area. That was my 4th favorite place on this trip. Again, this is not in any particular order, but I think I did save the best for last. My 5th favorite place was the Koh Samui Elephant Sanctuary. I've never really seen elephants, maybe in a zoo, but I've never been like up close with an elephant before. So this is something I really wanted to do in Thailand. I'm definitely aware of the abuse that goes on in Thailand, especially in the trekking and logging industries. So I was very careful of which place I chose to go to. This sanctuary I went to, they saved elephants from those industries, and as far as I could tell, they were very well taken care of. So the day tour that I did was kind of split into 2 parts. The first half I really enjoyed because you got to make their own food and feed them and pet them and just get up close with them. I really liked that part, but the second part, I liked it, but there was something about it that I didn't like. I think it was because it was that part was very touristy and staged, where you like swim with the elephants. I don't know, it's just something about it I didn't really enjoy. But I mean, I had fun the whole day. I liked the first half better than the second half. But what's really nice about this place is if you're a solo traveler, one, they have a photographer always taking pictures of everybody, and then they upload all their photos to their Facebook, and you'll be able to access them for free. And then every staff member that I encountered there was always asking me if I want my picture taken or do I want a video, because I had my GoPro. So I was able to get lots of pictures and videos of myself because they were so helpful. This specific sanctuary has, I think, 3 other locations, one in Chiang Mai, Phuket, and somewhere else. I will link it down below, I forget. So yeah, that was my last one. Those were my top 5 favorite places I went to on this trip. Just a few other things about Thailand in general. I get a lot of other females asking me how safe I felt in Thailand, especially in Bangkok. In my experience, there's not one time I did not feel safe. Again, that's just my experience. I'm sure that there are a lot of bad experiences out there. If you're really worried about it, I would just at least do a tour group for at least the first few days or the first week of your trip. That way you just get a better awareness of your surroundings and understanding of like where you are in the world. And you always have somebody or other people to go out and do things with, or to ask questions, or just to learn together. The local people, very, very friendly. I would definitely recommend Thailand as your first solo trip. If you've been to Thailand, I would love to hear your favorite places and your experiences. I definitely plan on going back because there's so much more I want to see. Please feel free to message me or write in the comments. If you have any questions about Gadventures or the tour I did, also again, I'd be happy to answer anything. So yeah, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to my channel. Yeah, see you next time.